our 47th webinar, recapturing the highlights for 2024, looking at some of the webinars that are coming up in the coming year. As usual, we invite you to if you have any questions, we have a Q&A session at the end. So please put in your questions, and we'll do a Q&A session with the panel. Also, if you have a handheld device, we would invite you to. You'll need that for your phone or a separate tablet to join in the quiz at the end of today's webinar. And finally, one other point, if I can just remember it for a second. Yes, we have a questionnaire at the end of which you will see pop up on your screen. Some of you fill this in. We're asking for your feedback on our webinar, but also we invite you to suggest topics for future webinars. So it's very important that we deliver content that you want. So please, if you have some specific requests, please put those into the questionnaire at the end, and we will try to address all of your topics in the coming year. So first of all, I'm proud to introduce today's webinar team. We've got the newest member of the team, Ryan, who's joined us from Manchester Airport. A previous user of MARMS has now joined us as a project manager, bringing to us his expert knowledge of having worked out in the field, and as a member of our senior management team, helping us to deliver MARMS products and services worldwide. So thank you for joining us, Ryan, and in particular for the participating in this webinar. Tony Coates, more than 40 years in the electrical industry, expertise in AGL maintenance, has been a professional trainer for some years now, and developing a new airfield lighting program in Coventry. Kevin, leading industry expert, managing director of TMS training, engaged in leads our training sessions from our Coventry base, and brings with knowledge and expertise in latest industry standards and best practices. Carl, of course, is joining us from over the pond, very early in the morning there. More than 50 years of design and experience in design and construction, airfield lighting expert, regular present as a consultant and a presenter at IES. I always enjoy your presentations, Carl. And Carl will actually is leading a presentation on safety in February. So that's the planned February presentation. Of course, last but not least, Tony, world-renowned inventor of the PAPI, airfield lighting expert, and working as a standard setter for many years, but having extensive experience of developing these in an environment where we were able to actually test the standards. And the thing that I find so invaluable with Tony is he has a knowledge and understanding of why the standards are what they are. So I invite you to, if you have any questions or queries regarding, what's the rationale behind a standard, or indeed, we're looking at developing new standards. If you have any suggestions, Tony is the man to consult with. So without any further ado, let's kick off. As I said before, we have we covered a number of topics in the year. The first one was the issue of measurement of insulation resistance. This was a particularly quite a lively discussion we had with the audience. In particular, we talked about who's only qualified person should perform the insulation resistance test. There is a very important safety aspect to working in the electronics side of our industry here. So we looked at how first of all, checking the circuit has been de-energized before you do any work whatsoever. We talked about, again, and this is a topic we repeat, an axiom we repeat over and over again, you can't manage what you don't measure. So having a test procedure, following that process, and making it repeatable is absolutely essential to the process of understanding your airfield lighting environment, and also to ensuring that the measurements can be understood and employed in improving the process and managing your circuits. We talked about, I mean, the various questions about what the circuit should measure, but for a new circuit, and we even had discussion on this before the meeting today, the circuit should measure at least 500 megohms. We did consider seriously increasing this to 1 gig before today, and but we've left it at 500 megohms. Although this, I will appreciate, that is not enough for a lot of new circuits, but it certainly shouldn't measure any less than this. I don't know if any of you guys out there have any, Tony or Kev in particular, any thoughts on this? What's your experience?
My opinion, new circuit should achieve 1 gig at least.
So you know, that should be at least I think is the key point there. We're looking to optimize the performance of your circuits, and if you can't get a good performance out of them when they're new, it's not. I promise you, it's not going to improve. But the key thing is you should measure them regularly, and you should take measurements of both the installation resistance and also the conditions that are in place, and the time and date of those circuit measurements, so that you can actually make sense of them and understand the trends and use them as a basis for decision making and maintenance. So get to know your circuits and establish your own standards. Keep good records, as I said, that's very important, and those should be kept digitally. You know, it's you know, I admire the, you know, beautiful hand kept records, but in order to be able to manage data on any scale, you need to have digital records now, so that you can perform the analysis and you can use technology to do those analytics for you, and believe what your instruments are telling you. So we looked at the various tools and the principles of measuring in our presentation. We used the various tools we use to do that, the different meggers. We looked at the different methods: preventative maintenance, Megger testing, time resistance method, and the various approaches to this topic. Now, as in keeping with all of our presentations, all of our TMS Tuesdays, these are available on our TMS training website. There's a link on there. They're all free, and all of the slides are available for you to recap what was discussed and to refresh yourself. And again, I offer that if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us, and we will always do our best to answer your questions. So that was January. From there, we went on to the topic of FOD. So we've gone from electrical to mechanical. Are your lights at risk of becoming FOD? And we had a fantastic presenters for that. We had Sebastian Wolf, Mary Baton, and Kevin Halpin, who joined us to give their insight into this highly controversial topic, because of the standards, and which are still under review, the methods, the tools, and the equipment, and I can say from experience the fact that we're still seeing issues out of there. We're talking about bolts not being present in lights, and in particular lights damaging aircraft. Now, lights are becoming FOD, which is unacceptable in today's age. You need to have processes and procedures to avoid this, but you also need systems that minimize the risk. And it's quite a complex system, something as simple as conceptually as holding a light in the runway. One of the key things, when we look at torquing bolts, is well, I said it then. We talk about talking the lights down. When we're talking the lights down, what we're doing is actually achieving a clamping force, and it's that clamping force, the optimal force to keep elasticity in that joint to ensure it stays in place for the maximum period. If you don't tighten it enough, it'll rattle loose. If you over tighten it, the bolts get stretched and becomes ineffective and will also come out. So it's having elasticity in that joint and optimizing the effectiveness of that fastening that is absolutely key to your lights staying in the ground in their base unit. So we discussed the various solutions in the course of this presentation. First of all, Sebastian gave us Sebastian is as Sebastian, Mary, and Kevin are experts in this field in particular, gave us their insight into the work in which they're doing. Sebastian, whose company is Airfield ACE, talked to us about the potential hazards, and I think came up with the statement: everything that can happen will happen sooner or later, and it does. There are lights coming out of runways, on a regular basis. We see this happening all over the world, and it happens for a variety of reasons. So you need to have we need to have equipment that minimizes the risk of that situation arising. We need to have processes, and they need to be followed by the people installing and maintaining those airfield assets. And we need to have, and that needs to include monitoring to ensure that the appropriate interval, I guess, again, determined by the measurements, to ensure that the lights do not come out of the runway. There are standards out there. EB83A is the leading standard issued by the FAA, and as Mary explained, she has some very serious concerns about some of the science behind those standards. And Mary, Kevin, I think Carl may be part of an IES working group, are currently engaged in a dialogue with the FAA to address those issues. So this is and remains a hot topic for our industry, the topic of lights becoming FOD. Now, that has to be avoided at all costs. But there's a lot of science in there. And the thing I learned from that presentation, the formula was, torque, the bolt torque in inch pounds equals the multiplier of the friction coefficient, the nominal bolt diameter, and the axial clamp force. So the friction coefficient being absolutely key in this calculation is something that you can actually measure without torquing a bolt or measuring the clamping. Well, it does, I think, effectively measure the clamping force, and that's something that technology was demonstrated for at our meeting. But it's all of the components that come together with the process and the procedures and the training and the competence of the people that ultimately determines minimizes the risk of your bolts becoming FOD. We learnt one other aspect was the tension of the joint, the vertical forces parallel to the axis of the joint, as well as shear forces perpendicular to the axis of the bolt. Mary covered that aspect of it, and I know that's been a factor in some of the incidents that have occurred with bolts. But again, if you want to see the full history, please look at the excellent work and the presentation of the team that presented this on our website. Moving on to the next presentation we did, and this was the first presentation, I think, where Kevin and Tony joined us. We talked about counterpoise and grounding, lightning protection for airfield lighting. We discovered the contentious subject of earthing. It's contentious because it's done differently. It can differently throughout the world. How regulatory requirements differ significantly throughout the world. And we presented a general overview of the systems and how they're actually measured. Again, I think there's more to be done on this topic. And if that is something you would like to have more discussion about, please let us know, because the discussion I recall was most lively on this particular webinar. So we need to maintain the effectiveness of our lighting systems, avoid minimize the impact of damage from lightning strikes and the like, and to ensure that our airfield lighting systems are robust and reliable for the purpose in which they're intended. So the present and as an important part of that, of course, is all of the testing, and our presentation concluded with the various testing methods, and again recording the measurements so that you have the data upon which to base your decision making to enhance your processes and procedures. It always comes back to that fundamental of whatever aspect we're looking at. You can't manage what you don't measure, but for goodness sake, keep those records digitally so that we can use that data effectively and efficiently, and employing the latest analytics to understand what is happening, keep a track of what's gone, and to understand what might have contributed to various situations that have occurred, but more importantly, to optimize the future outcomes based on the particular circumstances and the results and measurements taken in your field, in your airfield. So then from there we looked at managing visual aids compliance in the 21st century. So we've gone very much from the the simple world in which we all lived, where I remember my father once saying how fortunate he felt that when he came to work, when he started working, he got a job and he spent his whole life working for the same company. And that was something that he felt very comforted by, because he kind of knew what he was doing, and he just built on that experience and those relationships, and that was life. Unfortunately, it's not life anymore. For so many of us, we change professions, we have to reskill, and even if we're in the same industry, we're having to reskill all the time because the technology is changing so fast. And in my time in airfield lighting, I've seen an enormous change since the turn of the century, with all manner of essentially electronics overcoming analog and paper-based maintenance and technology. And so we're seeing now, in terms of airfield lighting maintenance, we're seeing the process of a CMMS, computerized maintenance management systems that will allow us to plan our activity based on the analytics of what's required. We only do the work when it's required. We only do what is required, and we only do it where it's required. But we only know that because we've got the data on which to base our decisions. So we take our measurements using the tools that we would employ in an airfield, which could be, a photometric testing system, a photo bench in the workshop. We use there's technology now for measuring signs and PAPIs, both the vertical angle and the photometric performance and the chromaticity of lights. We measure the illuminance of signs. We can measure stand and apron areas, the illumination there, and for mechanical aspects, we've got electronic torque wrenches and tools for measuring circuits and measuring all aspects of our environment, such that we're able to build the data upon which we're able to plan our maintenance. Having identified from the measurements what maintenance is required, when, where, and what, we then have a new set of tools now to maintain the lights. So time being of the essence, runway availability being critical. We sometimes focus on the cost of the tools for maintenance, but that cost pales into insignificance compared to the cost of consuming a runway with maintenance time, because it makes it unavailable for aircraft. So runway availability is the biggest cost associated with maintenance, and why it's so difficult for many of you to actually even do your jobs, because you can't get access. So you need processes and tools and skills to ensure that maintenance can be that compliance can be delivered in the most efficient and minimum possible time, and at the minimum cost, of course, provided it delivers compliance. So we only do work scheduled on the basis of measurements, and we try and plan that work to be done proactively, predictively, to ensure the required outcome, to minimize unplanned maintenance requirements, which would interrupt the traffic, aircraft traffic. And there are tools to do that, a whole range of tools for maintenance now that weren't around in the past. An example of that would be an electronic torque wrench, which provides you the measurements of what the brake torque was, so you know how loose a bolt was when you torqued it. You know how much the bolt has moved, and of course you have the measurement to show what the final torque was when you've completed the task, and that can be used analytically to plan your future maintenance cycles, also to demonstrate the work has been done properly, and to identify hotspot areas that will require additional maintenance in the future. Having performed your maintenance, you then have all of the results, the data you've gathered from that, to monitor the effectiveness of the performance of your maintenance, and that will be reported in various ways internally, to show that work has been done, the required results have been achieved, and to demonstrate that the airport is operating safely to all stakeholders. Not the least of those would be the regulators, the regulatory bodies involved. And of course, you've got an audit trail to actually demonstrate the work has been done. And then ultimately, there's the management aspect of that, because with all of this information you're collecting, you're able to use that to perform your maintenance tasks more efficiently and effectively, and that includes using AI in the future to be able to anticipate trends and to direct your maintenance activities proactively to catch situations before they occur, based on your analytics and the algorithms which we're developing to support you, and ultimately feed back into the measurement process. So it's a continuous cycle, and you, as I said before, and I'll say again, you can't manage what you don't measure. So that was the basic topic: using technology to maintain, manage, monitor, and to support your airfield lighting maintenance using current technologies. Keith did an excellent presentation on the intelligent airfield. Again, we're looking at collecting all this data, linking together all of the technologies we have out there. Inherent in electronics that wasn't present in the analog equipment that was out there in the past is telemetry. So this telemetry provides the analytical information to tell you what is happening inside your lights, inside your control systems, your electronics, to provide you proactively with the information you need to manage your visual aids. So that, for example, might include something that's able to pick up the rattling within a light fixture, so that you can tell if it's coming loose. That would be a good indicator. I recall hearing when I first started in the industry a description of one airport's approach to determining if lights were getting loose, and what they used to do was drive down the runway with one light on the putting one light on the fixture, and they used to listen out to see if there was a clunking noise, which indicated that the light was coming, the bolts were coming loose. An interesting technology, an interesting technique, but I'm not sure that I think it's all a bit late if the light is starting to rattle. But so we've moved on an awful long way. We've got the control systems which are monitoring the electronic performance of the lights. We've got external asset management systems which are now integrated with your CMMS to efficiently help you manage the workflow, create work orders, feeding into the airfield lighting maintenance systems, which are built specifically around the environment in which many of you are actually working. So within that digitalization, we've got all kinds of reporting there. We've got linking into something we talked about, IRVR, instrument runway visual range. So we're looking to feed the performance of your lighting into the formulae that are used to calculate the visual range that is available to the pilot real time from the tower, from the IRVR equipment. So again, it's all linking all of the technologies together digitally to provide real-time information to ensure safe operation and to provide ultimately the pilots with the visual cues to operate safely and to ensure smooth, a regular operation of traffic, and that we don't get go-arounds or even diversions, or in the worst cases, of course, accidents. So we looked across all aspects of digitalization and how the technologies work together. Again, linked closely to the competence and the training of people operating that equipment, which is obviously a key component to the equation. Looking at the knowledge, skills, and very importantly, the attitude of those working there, provided they have the tools, the processes, and the training to operate in an efficient manner. So that was the intelligent airfield. And again, all of these presentations are available online to you. I've just mentioned that Rob Billingham also did a presentation on managing visual aids compliance in the 21st century, and here we actually worked through a number of examples of instances of measurements and analyzed them using the various tools and techniques we have, linking the information to determine what conclusions we could reach from that analysis, using actual live data collected together and drilling down and to help us identify from the desktop what was going on and to help us plan our maintenance actions. And finally, in our last presentation of the year, Josh Colsty from Halifax Airport did, I hope if you missed it, please look at on our website. We've got on this slide the TMS Training Solutions link, so you can click on that link and get to or take that link onto your computer, and you'll be able to find our webinars there. He presented the transformation of Halifax Airport, and in that particular presentation, we took an airfield that had was rather skeptical initially to the photometric testing, having cleaned the lights and done all the necessary maintenance, performed a photometric test, expecting to get good results, and were quite shocked by the result. And on analysis, based on those measurements, were able to determine that the reasons for the problems was to do with the condition of the lenses, and determined to first of all change to from halogen to LED lenses, which produced the desired result immediately. But then following one winter's operation and snow and ice removal, found that they were back where they started, and then had to repeat the learning with and a transformation, replacing the glass lenses with sapphire coated lenses, supported by enhanced maintenance regime to produce what is now an outstanding result of a fully compliant two-runway system in Halifax Airport, and to their complete there was a concern that it was going to result in more work, wouldn't be effective, and would certainly result in more cost. Actually, confounded the doubters by actually showing you could actually achieve a better result with less effort and at lower cost by employing AGL metrics in your decision-making process. And of course, the airport went from non-compliant to compliant. And I think that if you look at the webinar, Josh said something to the effect at the end of it, said, well, you should do this. In fact, he said, I don't know how you can not do it, because, ultimately, compliance is not discretionary. This is our job out there. That's what we're all employed to do, whether you're a designer, an installer, a maintainer, or in one of the support industries providing the tools or the technologies to airports. The acid test of our doing a good job is safety and compliance. So how could you not do this, was his message to you all. So I on that rather irrefutable note, a message, I would now that concludes our run up of what we talked about last year. But think about that one. Now, so what are we going to talk about next year? Well, you've been filling out your questionnaires for us, and we've had requests for presentations on airfield light, various aspects of airfield lighting training. Now, as with everything in our industry, the requirements are constantly evolving. It's training is not discretionary. I don't know if it ever was really. People have to be trained. You must have training to know how to do your job. Otherwise, it's not going to get done properly. But the training requirements have been much more structured through legislation, national and international training regulation, both coming from the electrical side and also from the aviation industry through your national operators, through bodies like EASA, CASA, Transport Canada, FAA, and ultimately ICAO. So all of the requirements are now being formalized, and there's a requirement A, to be trained, and B, to be kept up to date through a process of continuous professional development. But that training extends to specific areas and problems. And in the next presentation, we're actually going to be doing a very, very interesting session on we're looking at the pits, understanding the problems of maintaining pits and the hidden hazards. And we have an expert on the topic, Les Payne, who has specialized. He's a biologist, a water biologist, and he will be telling you what you can expect to find in your pits, what those hidden hazards represents, and educating you as to best practice as to how to minimize the risks associated with those hazards. So that's our next session, but that's just one aspect of airfield lighting training. Lots more to come there. Helipads, for example, as a big topic, and vertiports. But tell us what you want us to give you, and we'll do our best to provide it. Next topic is always at the forefront of our mind: safety and compliance. We have to be, particularly as practitioners, it's not just the getting the aircraft to take off and land safely, but it's also to maintain the environment and a safe and compliant workplace for all of you and everyone working in aviation. So we've got Carl Johnson will be doing a presentation for us in February on this very topic. A very entertaining presentation, which I've had the good fortune to have a preview of. So look out for that. So it's been an excellent start for this year. But then we'll be looking to bring further case studies and lessons learned from airfield lighting projects around the world. We can learn an awful lot from other people's experiences, and we'll be seeking to bring some of you hopefully to present your stories to us in the coming months. We've also been asked to present on latest technologies. There's a constant evolution in the technologies we've talked about, particularly in the field of electronics. We had a meeting. We had the meeting with the UKCA this morning, and they were talking to us about some new technologies coming to industry. So we will seek to bring you at least one webinar talking about the latest technologies affecting visual aids and our airside environment, so that we're prepared to manage those as they come on stream in the coming months and years. And then finally, cost-effective asset management practices. All our assets airside have a life cycle, and safety and compliance is mandatory, but we do have a duty to manage them in a cost-effective and efficient way. So we'll be focusing on that as another topic for this year. But again, I invite you to submit your topics for 2025 TMS Tuesdays by completing the survey at the end of this webinar. This is our little advertisement for the next one. So the hidden hazards of an AGL pit from Les Payne I referred to earlier. So that webinar will take place on Tuesday, the 28th of January. So I hope you'll be able to join us for that one. It'll be at the normal time of 2 o'clock in the UK, 1 o'clock in Europe, and your respective times for all your other time zones. But as with all of our webinars, it will be recorded and will be available to use it to view and enjoy in the future. So I'd like now to switch on to our 2020, the finale of our presentation today. Before we go into the questions and answers, I'd like to talk about our festive. I'd like to give you our festive quiz. You're going to need a second device handy, a tablet or a smartphone, if you have something there. It should be quite simple to, hopefully quite simple to use. If I can just pop up the screen here, and if I've paid attention to what Damon's been teaching me today, we might just get through this one safely. Hopefully now we'll pop up with a right. So hopefully now you can see a QR code there. If you scan that in on your phone or your handheld device, you'll be invited to put in your name or any name that you want to recognize for yourself by, but don't be shy. There's a £100 prize donation to the charity of your choice is the award here. So it's good to see if you click on there. I hope you can so you can join in. So just point your phone at that QR code, put in a name, and start. I'll give you a few minutes to jump onto the screen, and then we'll start the quiz. The quiz is 15 random aviation related questions. You get points for getting a right answer, but you get even more points for getting it quickly. You have 30 seconds to answer each question. And for the fastest correct answers get the most points. We will have a league table. I won't show the league table after every point, but we will have a league table to add to the crescendo of excitement that will build as we go through those 15 questions. And I hope you all do very well on this. And may the best man or woman win. So I'll give you a few more minutes, just a couple of minutes or more to actually get logged on. So please try and join in. The questions are not enormously hard, but there are some that you may not know the answers to because they're more of a more general knowledge aviation, but there's some specific ones related to lighting. So it's just a bit of fun. And we will show the league table will just show the top three at any point in time as we go through the quiz. So I'll kick off. If you haven't managed to join, please try. I'll give you a bit longer. I still see you joining. Try and get the questions right. All the answers are presented at the end of every question. Yeah, still jumping on. Come on, don't be shy. There's not. I will. I hope that it's not too difficult. Just, but I want to keep things going. Keep things going. I'll give you another 30 seconds to jump on, and then we'll start the quiz. And if you haven't managed to get through, then please have a go and and just see how well you do anyway. So I'll start the quiz now. Question number 1. Right. What colour are the lights marking the edges of a taxiway? We've deliberately confused you there with the colour coding for the answers, so be careful. And a couple more. Come on, 12 seconds, 11 seconds to answer. Right. So now see, after round 1, the answer, of course, was blue. Now, which airport is famous for having the longest commercial runway in the world? I must admit I didn't know this one, but 11 seconds. We'll do a check and see how you're getting on here. Right. Time is up. Right. So, after question 2, the frozen electrician. Well, you have to reveal yourself at the end of this if you're the lucky winner. But let's go on. Let's go on to the next question. Which is the busiest airport in the world by passenger traffic? Eleven seconds. One more, come on. Make your mind up. Right. Okay. Well done. What's the purpose of the Cat 3 runway system? Also, it's the highest commercial. 2 seconds. Right, so we'll just take a check to see who's got that. Nepal is correct. From the leaderboard. Right. Christopher is now in the lead with Sam 3 and Frozen Electrician down to 3. And then Casper. Next question. What's the purpose of the Cat 3 runway system? It allows for landings in low visibility conditions, or is it a small aircraft only? Is it named after a 3-legged cat mascot, or does it control noise pollution? One more to go. Your time is up. Yes, I think you all got that one. You all got that one right. That's excellent. Next question. So, what is the official name of the world's largest airport by area? I know this one. So, that is King Fahd International Airport in Saudi Arabia. So Christopher's still in the lead, Sam in second place, and Ahmad is now jumped up into third. Next question. What do the letters on an airfield's holding point sign mean? So Alpha 2, Bravo 3. All of you working on an airfield will know this one, but 8 seconds to go. So, time is up. Yes, taxiway location markers. I think everybody got that one right. And Christopher is in the lead still, followed by Sam and Ahmad. But it's close at the top there. So, time is of the essence. Get your answers in quickly. Which country is home to Hamad International Airport? Is it UAE? Is it Qatar, Saudi Arabia, or is it Kuwait? So I've been there many times myself. Perhaps there's somebody on the call from there today, hopefully. 7 seconds to go. And the answer is, again, Qatar. So more than half of you got that right. So well done. Ahmad is now in the lead. So it's followed by Sam, followed by Christopher, and Igor coming up. So well done. Next question. We've got 6 questions to go. What is the world's busiest cargo airport? Is it Memphis? Is it Hong Kong? Is it Dubai? Or is it Frankfurt? Yep, Hong Kong. Well done, everyone. So Ahmad's still in the lead there. So Sam, Christopher, Igor, chasing up, chasing up. Next question. Which airport has the code ORD? Madrid, Oslo, Orlando, or Chicago? I've been there twice this year. 6 seconds to go. All done. It was, of course, Chicago. So what colour are mandatory instruction signs on an airfield? Nine seconds to go. Good. So red with white lettering, of course. And then moving on to the next question. And then we'll have a leaderboard check. What does runway incursion mean? Is it emergency landing protocols? Unauthorized aircraft, vehicle, or person on the runway? Sudden weather changes affecting runway? Or runway maintenance activities? Something we seek to avoid. Okay, yes, most of you got that correct. Unauthorized aircraft, vehicle, or person on the runway. And the leaderboard. Sam has just overtaken Ahmad. So very close at the top there, followed by Christopher. So it's very tight. You've got 3 questions left. So which airport is assigned to the ICAO code EGLL? Echo Golf Lima Lima. Is it London Gatwick, London Heathrow, London Luton, or Edinburgh? Not the code you would normally know for this airport. It's one of them. All done. And the answer is Heathrow Airport. Heathrow Airport is the correct answer. And Sam and Ahmed right at the top there, Ego, and Raza's in the 4th place, a new entrant into the table. So 2 questions to go now. What does the first R in RVR stand for? Regional, runway, radiating, or restricted? I answered that one in the presentation. So you seem to have been listening, judging by the speed at which you're answering this question. All answered with plenty of time to spare. Yep, correct. Almost everybody got that right. 19. So well done. And Sam is on top with 1 question to go. Ahmed, Igor. So we've got 1 question to win this. So good luck, everybody. So what does frangible mean in the context of airfield lighting structures? So what does frangible mean? 12 seconds to go. You seem to know this one. All done with time to spare. So the leaderboard. In third place, Igor. Second, Sam, and Ahmed is the winner. Well done, Ahmed. It's congratulations. Please let Damon know, or myself know, your chosen charity, and we will donate £100 to that charity. And well done. That's absolutely fantastic. Well done. Thank you everybody for participating in this quiz. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will just go back to the webinar. Stop sharing. Hello, Tony. So if we can going back to the webinar now, we will look, and we're coming to the end of time. I can see we have questions here. Yes. So Ahmed, hi Ahmed. Yes, you can put on the chat there your favorite charity. Let us know what it is, and then we can announce it, or we'll send it out in an email. So thank you all for participating. I hope you've enjoyed the webinar today, and I hope you've enjoyed our presentations throughout the year. I think it would be remiss of me not to. I should just mention thank the panel for joining in today, and I'll put them. I'm going to put them each on the spot for a Christmas message, either festive or advisory on the topic here. But in particular, I'd just like to cite out Damon and Felicity, who've done so much work in the background to prepare and publicize and to promote our webinars. Thank you for that. I'd like to just say to Ryan, our latest member of the team, newest member of the team, thank you for joining us, and I'm looking forward to you bringing your airfield experience to the fore in the coming year, because I think it will be very useful to give us the balance of having used the equipment and been Manchester Airport being a leading practitioner of the MARMS world to actually help us to move forward, because we never sit on our laurels here, and Ryan has already been getting in the first 6 weeks very much into in getting his teeth into a number of topics. So what do you think of it so far, Ryan?
Yes, Robert, thank you for introducing me into the organisation. It's certainly been eye-opening. I've learned more in the last 6 weeks than I have in a very long time. So I certainly appreciate that. And just to all of our guests on the call, I'd just like to wish you, your organisations and your families a very happy Christmas and a prosperous new year.
Here. Thank you. And Tony, you've had thank you for joining us. You've had I warned you, Tony's has got a terrible cold. You haven't had the best year for health, have you, Tony?
No, not the best. But then when you're my age, things are wearing out, and you just have to recognize it. No, that's it. But it's good to see that things are going. I mean, I've been involved with airports for 50 more years, and it's good to see the future is unfolding there. And I think it's important to realise that it doesn't stay static. Over the years, a number of times in our research programs, so I said, "Oh, you must have done all the research now." No, nothing more. We need to go, because operation requirements change, and that requires different technologies. So it's going to go on for a long time. So good to be part of this, and it's providing a good facility for the aviation world and the airports in particular. So wish everybody all the best for the season.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you again for your huge contribution, not to our webinars, but more importantly to the industry over so many years, because you really have made you may have, obviously with the PAPI, I can't say enough of how much you've achieved. So and continue to deliver with the same enthusiasm that you've always shown towards our visual aids and aviation. So thank you, Tony. And we have another Tony on the call, Tony Coates, our newest Tony. So thank you for joining us, Tony. Tony's bringing to us his training and aviation combined with aviation expertise. How's it been? How's the first year been for you, Tony?
Hectic, I think is the best word to use it. Hectic, but very, very beneficial. So looking forward to next year. And realistically, the only thing I'd like to say to anybody who's viewing is that if you celebrate Christmas, may I wish you a very Merry Christmas. And to everybody who is viewing, may I wish you 2025 be everything you want and need.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Just the Tony Smith's comments there in terms about bringing new, the constant change and bringing new things. It just reminded me that we're in the presentation on the fasteners and talking joints and keeping lights from becoming FOD. Mary gave the very enlightening bit of information that apparently the first commercial use of screws in the world was not in fact to fasten airfield lights to the runway, but in fact they were used to press grapes. Not everything is progress in this world, is it? Anyway, I'll leave you to think on that one. But yeah, so Carl, thank you for joining us, getting up so early once again to present. What's your year been like?
Thank you for having me. It's been a good year. I really enjoy Airfield Lighting because it is continually changing, and there's always more for me to learn. Each and every year I find there's more for me to learn. I just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, enjoy your family and friends, and have a great new year.
Thank you, Carl. And last but not least, Kev, and again, one of our newest members of the team, joining us. Kevin, by the way, Kevin plays in a brass band, and so I really should have invited you to play us out with a seasonal piece of music, but we could have had your whole orchestra, your whole band on. But perhaps next year.
Well, we'll see, Robert.
So
Very well.
yes. So anything to say to the audience?
I'll just wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone in the new year.
Well, good. And I'd like to thank you. I've looking at all the messages here. One of your former colleagues, Ryan, Paul Bennett's wishing you a happy Christmas. Good Christmas wishes from Ahmed and Samuel and others. And so it's a look. I just wish everybody a very happy Christmas, happy New Year. Thank you for participating in our webinar. It's much appreciated. It wouldn't be, but please take time to fill in your questionnaire at the end. And I look forward to seeing and hearing from you all in the new year. Merry Christmas, everybody, and a happy New Year to you and your families. All the best. Goodbye.